So this session, it's a circular revolution, which is I'm delighted to host today. In this session, we are here to challenge the very notion of waste and redefine what it means to be resourceful. We will explore the idea of the world where every discredited item, it's a building block for something new. Is it that cool? Where sustainability is not just a goal, but it's a way of life. You might be doing a lot of this already, naturally. And if so, know that the young innovators, and I'm about to welcome at this stage, are working alongside you, making this vision a reality. There is a living example of how we can all be part of creating a circular economy that benefits both the people and the planet. So let's do it. Please, let's welcome on the stage our next panelist, Alex Mativo. He's a co-founder and CEO of Duck Analytics. Welcome to the stage. We have also Louise Mabulo. She's the founder of the Cacao project. And we have Moemen Sobh. He's the founder and CEO of Visenleer. Thank you. Welcome on stage.
Thanks for having us.
Pleasure. So Louise, we're going to start with a woman. Your passion for sustainability led you to found the Cacao project, right?
That's right.
In a very young age. Could you share a defining moment or experience that inspired you to take action against environmental degradation?
No, thanks for that. So it's a really interesting story. It was many defining moments that led me to founding the Cacao project. And it started, I think I would like to bring you all back to, in a time machine, to the beginning of my career when I was just 12 years old. And I was on MasterChef Junior, which is this TV reality show. And it launched me into the world's earliest culinary career. And I was this young kid with chubby cheeks and a baggy chef jacket, working in kitchens with chefs thrice her age. And I was figuring out what to do. I was navigating this career, and I quickly learned that, I didn't want to just be a chef. I wanted to look at the bigger scale of supply chains and all of these different things that ran behind the food on our tables and on our plates. And so that's when it kind of began. That was my first starting point. But over the years, I was working with these communities, these grandmas, and telling their stories through the food that we ate and kind of enjoying our meals and saying, these are where your tomatoes come from. If you walk down the grocery store, you don't think about where your chocolate bar comes from, but it actually comes from this grandma or this uncle who grew it for you. But in 2016, my life completely flipped over. My town was hit by Super Typhoon Nocten, and this destroyed 80% of agricultural land in my hometown. And it led me to start my project called the Cacao Project, which is what I'm here to talk about today, which helps farmers build sustainable and resilient livelihoods through agroforestry. It's using forests and farms to create economic systems that benefit farmers, benefit communities, and aren't just monocrops that produce waste or do carbon. We know that food systems account for 30% of global greenhouse gas emissions. So we're helping farmers transition their livelihoods through 3 pillars, and that's agriculture, education, and regeneration. We've worked with over 200 farmers, plant over 150,000 trees now, closer to 200,000, and we've regenerated over 370 acres of land. And all of these farmers are being upskilled into businessmen, and they're using agricultural waste, they're using cocoa pods to make chocolates, products, and using that to create an income, but also create economic benefits for themselves and for the communities to protect them against these storms and to provide better food.
Amazing, very amazing. So basically, you're with the concept of turning trash into treasure, right?
That's right, a little bit of that.
So it's a powerful way to describe creating values from waste. What advice would you give to young innovators who want to develop sustainable solutions in their communities, especially when they face limited resources? I think you faced that as well. Or significant challenges. I think also you face that. So how do you turn that from a starting point?
It's really interesting. So nowadays we look at innovation and we think of artificial intelligence, of tech, of finance, of all of those big, we had Bill Gates on today, so you think of Bill Gates and your Mark Zuckerbergs of the world. But sometimes the looking into the future requires looking back into the past and reaching into past knowledge, ancestral wisdom, and the solutions that already exist. All of the solutions to the world's problems that we're facing today are already there. They exist on the ground. The key is to unlocking it and finding innovative ways to marry ancestral knowledge or the resources that we have with science, with facts, being able to communicate it well, and being able to talk to the communities in a language that they understand and serve that gap. Where is it? I mean, in farming and agriculture, 50, 60 years ago, food was just food and farming was just farming. We didn't think of, oh my goodness, my beef is polluting the environment. We were doing something right. So how do we bring that correct, or maybe it wasn't perfect, but that strategy back into today and kind of rethink our food systems, rethink our landscapes, and rethink sustainability as we know it, as not just some big techno fix, but a way that is accessible for everyone.
Amazing. I mean, if you can give it in 3 words, what could be the 3 words to summarize how we can do that? How we can be having it a tangible action?
So I don't want to use such long words, but I really will.
Yeah.
It's environmental stewardship psychology, where you use people and the way they think and make the sustainable option more accessible, easier, and the better option that is cheaper and just better for all to access.
Yes, focusing on the human approach. Thank you. Thank you so much. So let's go to Alex. Alex, your journey with ELAP began when you were just 19. Amazing. Can you share a pivotal moment from those early days that shaped your understanding of circular economy principles?
Yeah, thank you for the question. So one question I like asking the audience is, do you remember your first mobile phone? Like just before
Nokia?
smartphones?
It was Nokia?
Yeah, Nokia. Mine was a Nokia 3310, right?
Yes.
And do you remember what happened to it? Like, do you know where it is? No, I'm sure you don't.
Do you know? Phone and apps.
Yeah.
And Snake, لعبة الثعبان, صح? Eh.
So I can tell you where my phone went. And essentially what I did was I created waste. And the kind of waste I created is called electronic waste.
Nice.
And the problem with electronic waste is you cannot, it's not biodegradable. You cannot throw plastic in the environment and expect it to biodegrade, right?
Yeah.
So I come from a small town in Kenya where there was a huge problem. Very many companies were throwing away electronic waste. And you can imagine as a small kid, I don't know what to do with it.
Yeah.
So I got into business not because I chose, it's because I had to come up with a solution. And my first idea was to turn that waste into something that you admire. So what do you admire the most? It's jewelry, it's products that we buy for our loved ones, like jewelry, fashion, accessories, right? So so from very early on, I understood what circular economy meant, which was turning something that's obsolete into something really beautiful. And at 19, I created a huge business just by doing that. And that's essentially what circular economy is all about.
Oh, so your principle, taking something very simple to make it something more useful from a waste. Amazing.
Exactly.
Amazing. So your work has earned you recognition. He's a Forbes 30 under 30, and he's the Queen's Young Leader Awardee. Yes, we should give him, right?
Thank you. Thank you.
So how have these achievements impacted your ability to access to new approaches of sustainability? Can you give us an example of how you applied circular economy concepts in your advice ventures?
Yes. So right now I'm running a company called Duck Analytics, like the bird, duck.
But not duck face, huh?
And what Duck does is we work with some of the biggest companies in the world, like Coca-Cola, Pepsi, Red Bull. And our goal is to make their supply chains more efficient. So let me give you an example. If Red Bull is sitting in the shelf in the supermarket, that means it's not moving. So that's waste, essentially, right? It's because Red Bull overstocked. So what I do at DAC is I use data and AI to help these companies understand that this is how my supply chain can be more efficient. So essentially what I've done is I've carried the concept of circular economy from my first business and now applied it to this new innovation. And this new innovation is working for some of the largest brands in the world. And the goal is to help them become more efficient. It's not only good for the planet because they're reducing waste, it's also good for business because they're making money. Yeah.
Amazing, amazing. Would you just summarize your principles of circular economy into 3 words for them?
Yes. Reduce, reuse, and what do we say?
Recycle.
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 Exactly.
Thank
exactly.
you, thank you. Let's go for Moemen. Moemen, your work with Visenleer, right?
Yes, hopefully
Perfect.
Visenleer. But
Visenleer.
amazing, but yeah, we're on the track.
Thank you. So it transforms ocean waste into sustainable textile. You know, I'm very interested about this topic particularly.
Amazing.
Can you walk us through the process of upcycling this waste and share us some of the challenges and opportunities you have encountered in creating the circular venture?
Amazing. So first of all, thank you so much. Always there's this shocking status that I usually love to share is that fashion produces more gas emissions than oil and gas. And people usually lag the fact that we are emitting a lot of carbon dioxide in the process. Fun fact that by 2030, 50% of the gas emissions is going to be all because of fashion.
Oh, yes.
And I come from a city called Port Said, which is in the northern part of Egypt. We have amazing water sources. We have the Mediterranean Sea, the Suez Canal, and the Manzalik. And within all of these amazing water sources, my parents, grandparents, and great-grandparents used to work and live as fishermen. And this is my heritage and my culture that I take pride in. But because of climate change, we're kind of losing the heritage and the culture.
Absolutely.
According to the UNICEF, Egypt is going through a water defect of 7 billion cubic meters every single year, and the country might run out of water by 2025. And one of the solutions that we came up with as a city
Yeah.
is that we just take the waste,
Yes.
put it in plastic bags, and dump them in our freshwater sources that we need to reserve most. So this is when we spoke with the fishermen. We decided to actually buy the waste, which is invaluable because at the end of the day, our city produces more than 10 tons of fish waste every single week. So we took the waste, decided to experiment with it, and we created the first sustainable textile material in the MENA region that only uses the ocean and fish waste. And from there, we pivoted to the first sustainable fashion line in the MENA region that only uses the ocean waste. The process itself is 100% organic because the tanning processes as well, they produce 90% of the gas emissions that goes into the global gas emissions of fashion.
Yes.
So the tanning process itself is very important. This is when we developed 100% organic formula that only uses glycerin, water, and sunlight. And this is the tanning process of how we do leather generally from
Amazing. So you're trying to tell us there is a possibility to have a real transformation in the fashion, to be a sustainable fashion,
True.
and not a greenwashing?
waste. Okay, that's a very interesting question because the thing is with greenwashing, we've seen a lot of brands right now. They
Yes.
just want to tick
Yes.
the we're
Like-
sustainable part. Yesterday we had this amazing panel where we're talking about like businesses and are businesses right now doing the actual, are they on track for being sustainable or they're just like greenwashing just to say, oh, we're sustainable.
Yes.
And a lot of international brands are using the word, oh, we're sustainable, we're recyclable.
Yes.
But that's not true.
Yes.
I mean, I don't want to name brands,
Yes.
but
Okay.
I don't
We
want to
name brands.
We name brands, but we all know the brands that are just, you know, using labor, like children labor inside of them, using a lot of chemicals inside of them. Funny enough, that some of the children that goes into the child labor in fashion, they get burns all over them, and this is like we also why we decided to pivot from using chemicals instead of the tanning process. So greenwashing exists heavily in the domain of sustainable fashion.
Absolutely.
But it's the ethical part that always needs to remind us that
To
we
redefine
exist. We
constantly.
define, exactly.
Constantly. So I still have a question for you. Given your experience across architecture,
Yes.
seems you're an
I'm
architect,
an architect.
environmental design, and sustainable materials, what practices, steps would you recommend for young people looking to contribute in the shift from take, make, dispose model to circular economy in their communities?
Okay, I'm not gonna make this a little bit into fashion, but I'm still gonna use some examples in fashion.
Make it to fashion. We have a female
Yeah,
here. They will be interested
that
about
would be interesting. Okay, so there are a lot of amazing startups that surface from the sustainable fashion industry using waste. Waste is the gold of the 21st century. We need to put that in perspective. A lot of startups, usually in the fashion industry, started using mangoes, for example, to create leather out of it. And then some of them used cactus to make leather out of it. We're tapping into how to use the seaweed into just making t-shirts and like the fabrics from it. So, I mean, waste is everywhere. Literally, I honestly mean it. We produce waste in a crazy amount. Okay, for example, raise your hand, all of you, if you have used any single-use plastic product in the past 48 hours. Honestly. Okay, we can see like most of the... Yeah, see? Like most of us use it, and this is waste. We're contributing to the carbon dioxide emissions.
Absolutely.
So just take, make, and don't dispose. Create. Be creative with it.
Okay.
We call them the creative industries because being sustainable is being creative.
Yes.
And this is part of how we feed into the loop of
Sustainable.
sustainability and creativity.
To be sustainable, be
To
creative.
and
That's,
yes, exactly.
speaking about which, my jacket actually, it's a recycled leather from
Amazing.
waste. So
Yeah,
I'm
good.
taking it on myself about sustainability. Okay, to finish our session, I would like to ask our panelists to give us an inspiring sentences, a Twitter line for our audience about your work, from what you have been, the practices and the principles that you have to inspire our young people. Starting by Alex.
So 3 things that you need.
Three things.
3 things.
Twitter punch, like small
3
Twitter
things.
punch.
3 things. This is a secret. Just stays in the room.
Okay.
3 things that you need.
What happened at the Majlis
All right.
stays at the Majlis.
Awesome. So if you want to do anything in the world, anything, I mean anything, you need 3 things. 1, people that can execute, right?
Yes.
2, people that can think, so analysis. And then 3, and most important, you need money.
Money.
So if you have those 3 things, you can do anything in the world.
Amazing, amazing. Thank you so much, Alex. Over to you, Luisa.
I'm not sure how brief I can be, but I just
Okay.
have to say we're moving into an economy where sustainability and circularity is not going to be an add-on. It will be an assumed baseline. And again, I mentioned the solutions already exist, and we just have to reach into our communities right where we are and localize our supply chains.
Yes.
Look at the practical, accessible solutions and make that the baseline and
Make it the
assumed
baseline.
experience, exactly.
Make it the baseline. Thank you so much, Luisa.
All right,
Over to you, Moemen.
I'm gonna say that the power that we hold inside of us, just as being young creatives, is what is feeding into circular economy. And just to do it like in a very small punchline in Twitter style, start small.
Start small.
This is how we all started, in a very small way. I mean, just find the waste, play with it, get creative,
Be
and
creative.
you are saving the environment somewhere or another.
Can we give a round of applause? Thank you so much for the amazing session. Thank you, guys.
Thank you so much, everyone.
Yes.
Thank you very much. Well done. Well done. Well done. Well done. Well done, Habibi. Well done. Well done. All of you. Well done. Well done. Well done. Thank you. Sure. We were
No time, right?
on time. Well done.
Thank
Well
you.
done. We appreciate it. Thank you to Mayada and our great speakers for sharing with us the reasons for hope and optimism despite the significant environmental challenges for our time. It's now time for another break. Refresh, reflect, and connect with other attendants. But whatever you do, do not miss the next session with one of the greatest inspiring motivational speakers you will ever hear. The legend Eric Thomas will be doing a questions and answer with the audience right here at the Majlis. And one last time, if you haven't done the QR code, do not forget to look at MISC Art Competition, select and register for your favorite art competition. See you in less than 20 minutes.